Unusual. Unusual besties.
My name is Nena.
And my name is Scott.
And today we're going to be talking about manifesting. So, and how to manifest. Well, from what I've experienced, what works for me when manifesting things.
Yeah. So let me give a little bit of background. When me and Nena first met, she was not in any way spiritual. She didn't believe in anything.
No.
Like a divine power or the universe or universal energy or energy in general. She really did not believe any of it. But as time has gone on, she actually lives it now and always tries to maintain a high vibration. Now, from my perspective, I do very much believe that we're in a new age, the age of Aquarius. We can talk about those things hopefully another time. But I do believe there is a wave of new consciousness hitting the planet. I believe it probably started somewhere in the last 20, 50 years, and it just keeps growing. And I think you see it in school-age children who are just so much mostly kinder to one another, more accepting of people's differences than certainly when I was in school. And you see it in people in their 20s who are openly talking about, manifesting, tarot readers, psychics, being a light worker. So I do think, there are many souls who've come down this time to help usher in this new age. And like I say, Nena, I feel I believe this for a while. Maybe always did without realizing it, but Nena never did. But over the years, she's very much become very much aware of energy and manifesting. So she'll talk to you a little bit about her manifesting capabilities, what she's manifested in her life.
Actually, let's talk about this first. So when I first learned about this, I never Scott's right. I don't believe in God or anything like that. The first time I heard about anything having to do with you attract what you for yourself is whenever Scott showed me the documentary, The Secret. And I kind of thought, I was like, okay, this is a load of shit. Right. But
and did I show you the video?
Yeah, we watched The Secret at your house.
Okay.
And I thought this was kind of a load of shit. And then later on, I don't know what happened. Maybe I read The Secret or I read something about manifesting, a law of attraction. And then I went on to move to Florida. And then something happened significantly that I was like, okay, I need to change the way I think because you are your own creator, right? So Neville Goddard says, I don't know if he exactly said this, but he's one of the most, in my opinion, renowned manifestors in the world. Obviously he's deceased now, but anyway, he was talking about how you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are, right? So if you're operating from a place of lack or a lower vibration, you're never going to get it. The universe always says yes, okay? There's no there's enough abundance for everyone. So if you're oh my God, I'm having a really hard time, I can't find a job, the universe is only going to give you more of what you're unable to find. You like not having a job. You like having not enough money. You like having no partner, because you keep talking about it. You're operating from a place of lack. So, and the universe doesn't know time either. So I want to really emphasize on this because it's kind of weird for me. So when I first moved to Florida, I kind of was having a little bit of a hard time. I was a new flight attendant. I lived in a crash pad. I didn't have a ton of money, but I know I wanted to meet someone and have a nice life.
So that's a crash pad is where lots of people, 5, 6, 8 flight attendants stay.
Yeah, so it's where a lot of people live. It's almost like a hostel. It's awful. I met someone. And I moved in with him and I had a whole relationship and everything worked out for me very well. And then that didn't work out for me and he threw me away, which is a bad way to look at it, but whatever, that's what happened. And then this guy I had liked from high school came around in my Instagram DMs. So he slid into my DMs, but I liked him a long time ago. And even now, this guy I'm dating on and off, I liked him when I first started working at my previous company. And a couple years passed and we worked together. It's he's a pilot and I was an in-flight instructor and he was a pilot instructor. So we worked together in a class and I took it upon myself to ask him to take me in the sim. So everything comes to you at the time it's supposed to come to you, right? So like the guy from high school came to me many moons later. The guy from work came to me like 2 years later. I started flying, learning how to fly as a pilot, and I had to stop. And when I got laid off from my job, I was like, this is a good time to like start flying again. So that's working out for me now since I have a full-time job, but it's not like a real corporate, like office-y job that requires a lot of structure. So it's fine. Like I can study. Even when I got my house, I live in a condo in downtown Orlando. My apartment that I was living at in another city after my ex had left me, went up like, I don't know, to like $3,000 a month or something stupid. So I had to leave. And then I wanted the unit next door to this one, but I couldn't have it for some reason. And then I got this one and it's even better than what I imagined. So it's just like everything comes to you in the time that it's supposed to. But it also has a lot to do with your attitude too, right? Everything wasn't working out for me, but it is. Abraham Hicks says that you're always on your path. Whether you think you're on your path or not, you are. Everything is always working out for you, no matter how it seems at any point in time. So you just have to go about it that way. I know it sounds weird and people think it's kind of like frou-frou and hippie-ish, but once you really like open up your mind and like kind of don't really have such a closed mind, you see that everything always works out for you. Like if my ex wouldn't have left me, I wouldn't have worked at this place that I work at now. I wouldn't have my job that I'm doing now. I wouldn't have my car. I wouldn't have this. So even though you think everything's going wrong, it's not. Right. So like you just have to kind of have like an open mind.
And I would say, always sort of upgrade your thoughts as well. And the reasons I kind of say that, and it's just kind of not short-term manifesting that you're talking about, but me, for example, I'm originally from the UK. About 18 years old, I just hated the weather. And I came on vacation, and I was like, I got to live somewhere warm. I've got to move to the States, because it's English speaking and the weather's generally better. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I had no idea. But in my mind, I was always going to move to the US. And about 10 years later, I met a girl. We got together. Then she ended up she wasn't working at the time. She was between jobs. She ended up getting a job at Coca-Cola in London, where she was living. She stayed at Coca-Cola. We got married. And 2 years later, she was offered a job with Coca-Cola to move to Atlanta. Atlanta wasn't really I'd not really known about Atlanta. I wanted to move to Florida, but we moved, and I now live in the States. So it was always in my head that I was going to move to America. And then situation just kind of came about. Like I say, it wasn't like when I met her, she was working for Coke. She hadn't worked for Coke. She got a job at Coke. It wasn't like working for Coke in the UK. Everyone gets the opportunity to move to Atlanta, but the opportunity just came around, and now I'm in the States. But then I never really upgraded my thoughts since then. Since then, it's kind of like, okay, you're now in Atlanta, you're now in America. Now what? Mm-hmm. And I think since then, my life has kind of just happened. What would you use? I don't want to call it stagnant, because we've done fun things like we, spoke about it. But yeah, I just didn't really have a focus. And likewise, even more so with my father. My father grew up, I would say, poor. My grandma was a part-time hairdresser to try and add a little bit of income. She got people's homes. My grandfather was I think they call it a tanner. He repaired shoes. He was a shoe repair.
Cobbler?
A cobbler, that's the right word. Worked in a basement 6 days a week. Ultimately, the leather killed him because it got into his lungs. I mean, they were not rich. They ate, didn't live on the streets, but they were very much a working class family. Well, my dad, first day he met my mum, told her, I'm going to be a millionaire. And he did. The thing was, he never upgraded his thoughts because, $1 million, once he hit $1 million, then he stagnated. And, he got more than that, but actually ultimately then lost it and it went back down. So, at that point, he should have thought, I want to be worth $100 million, and believed he was going to be worth $100 million. And my father never went to college. He started off working in retail and just worked his way up. But in his mind, he always knew he was going to be worth £1 million, which is the UK currency, and he never upgraded it. I always felt I was going to move to the US. I did. I never upgraded it. So, believe it fully, but once you hit that target, don't stagnate, retarget, upgrade, because it is truly, truly all out there. There are people worth hundreds of billions. And I'm not suggesting we all can be, but maybe we all can be. But
you can be. There's enough abundance for everyone.
There's enough abundance for everyone. And I know people who struggle, unfortunately, to pay their rent, to pay their food, to pay their bills. They're making choices every day between which bill do they pay and sit there in darkness or don't eat for 3 days. And it's horrible. But unfortunately, that vibration of lack, which is very, very, very real to them, and is so difficult for them to manifest otherwise, they are only attracting more, unfortunately. And again, I'm not suggesting this is easy or simple, but you have to, as best you can, and it isn't easy, try and avoid your 3D thinking.
Yeah, let me stop you right there. Yeah. So I want to add something before you continue because it'll just rattle on. So that's a good point. So a belief is just a thought that you keep thinking, right? But your 3D, again, this is probably going to sound like a frou-frou and crazy to people, but your 3D is previous thoughts that you've already thunk, right? So like you can't respond to the 3D. The 3D, old news, fake news, old news. This is fake news, as they say, on some political channels. This is fake news. It's fake news. Okay. Yeah. So the 3D is something that you've already thought, so you have to think of the 3D. It's like the 3D is bullshit. Like you have to think about what you want. You need to live in your desired outcome. And we're not just talking about money, right? If you want to have a loving relationship, or if you want to live in that house or live in that city, it's not all abundance can be thought of in different things. Not everyone wants to have a ton of money. I mean, I'm sure most people do, but most people want to just have enough money to be comfortable or whatever. But yeah, so back to the 3D. The 3D is old news, bullshit. It's something that you thought yesterday, 5 years ago. What do you want now? And you need to live in the wish fulfilled.
I think so. And I think, you'd say you manifested your condo, you manifested your car, you manifested some of your lifestyle. You didn't know how it was going to happen, but you've made it happen. And now you write down what you want to.
Oh, I write down what I want. I if you come to my home, or even if you, everywhere I go, in the bathroom, there's a little sticker. Actually, somebody left it on my car. It says, "Do something today that your future self would be proud of." I have everything's always working out for me on the fridge. I have all types of things that I want to be manifested. But this is just kind of what I want. But you have to live in the wish fulfilled. So right before you're about to go to sleep, Neville Goddard refers to state akin to sleep, which is where you need to basically whenever you're in a transient state, but prior to resting, so you can get your subconscious mind open to know what you want and how it will be. So you have to kind of drift off into the sleep of what you already have. Say I want to have a partner.
You're making me drift off to sleep.
Okay. All right. I don't want to. You say something. You continue. Well, at least what I'm saying is valid.
No. I'm just tired. I'm just tired.
Okay. Well.
So go on. So tell me how you go about it.
No, I don't want to anymore.
I was just tired. I'm tired. I arrived in late last night, and then I So
anyway.
So you think manifesting is real?
I would agree. I mean, I would argue that it is real because every time I want something, I usually get it. So not that, I do get it. It's just it might not be it in my time, right? It could be like how I like the guy from work. I saw him 2 years before that. And I was like, I think this guy looks good, right? And then many moons later, fucking 600 moons later, I worked with him.
Whereas when we met, you didn't believe any of this.
I didn't believe any of it.
No.
Not even talking about him. I feel like manifesting a partner is the easiest thing to manifest because when I first became a flight attendant, my IOE, which is your first flight, my IOE captain, I was like, this is a good looking guy. Some pilots look good, right? I like him. But anyway, I liked him. I was based in Denver. My whole crew was based in Orlando. And then again, many moons later, when the plague started, I got put back on reserve and he got put back on reserve as a reserve captain. And he just I was on several flights with him and then went out and then it didn't go well. But anyway.
And just to recall, when Nina talks about the plague, she means COVID.
Oh, yes. Yes, it's the modern day plague. I forgot.
Yeah, and I think sometimes if it doesn't happen, I do think you've just got to be aware that time doesn't exist, in the fifth dimension.
It doesn't.
But also, certain things are genuinely not meant for you.
Correct.
So if it truly, truly is not in your best interest, it won't happen. So that's my view. So even if you manifested something, if the divine has established that is not right for you, it, it's just not going to happen. Like, you may get to that way of thinking yourself eventually anyway. So I give a strange example. Let's say there's some young girl who's 20, 21, and she really wants to get pregnant by this 25-year-old guy she's dating, and she tries to manifest it and it's just not happening. You know, maybe it's for the right reason that she's not, and maybe he actually turns out to be abusive and she ends up leaving and she actually meets someone else and has a happy time with him. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's not that I don't think you can't manifest. I just think when something is truly, truly, truly not for your highest good, and there will be a lot of signs along the way that maybe you shouldn't be trying to manifest that, and maybe you should change your thoughts and start thinking about other realities.
Yeah. Even though like when things aren't working out for you, they're still working out for you. I think that's what you mean. Like I really want to marry this guy. I have this example myself. I really wanted to marry this guy. I came home from work. He was like, this isn't working. Okay. It was very hard for me for like 2 years, but I was never off of my path. Everything had always worked out for me. I got to go back to finish the flying. I'm trying to be a pilot. I went to grad school. I have my own condo now. I have a nice car. Like, I was never off my path, even though it seemed like things were not going the right way.
Yeah, likewise, my divorce, it really, really wasn't something I ever wanted. It was just horrible, horrible time for me and my kids. Even after the divorce, I still tried to get it back. But now my kids, like, hopefully a lot better. Hopefully, like, I'm glad, you know, I've had so many opportunities that I wouldn't have had previously, you know, had that not happened. So it wasn't what I wanted. I certainly don't feel I manifested it, but I think it was my right. So yeah, so in terms of manifesting in general, I think it's very important, as Nina says, to take advantage of the times when you are kind of not quite asleep, but also not awake. Your mind is more susceptible to manifestation at that point. I also recommend keeping your home as clutter-free as possible, because I know I'm looking around, it's a mess.
Okay, this is my home, first of all.
Yeah. Because energy is real, and when energy is cluttered, it can't flow through easily. I mean, I'm no like huge proponent of, or not hugely aware of the details of feng shui, but I think there's some truth in it. So try and keep certainly your space there, that, you know, as clutter-free as possible. And I think write things down, write things in the present tense. I am a great leader. I am super rich.
I want to kind of like talk about that a little more.
We'll get someone gay bay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about, you need to be as specific as you can be. Like, don't just say, I want to be super rich. Super rich is subjective. I want to have, like,
not going to be, I am.
Or like, I am, like, I have, I don't know, $25 million. Like, I think one thing that they talk about, and even me, like, you need to, like, say what you want, because the universe doesn't know, like, you can manifest $100, you can manifest $100,000, doesn't matter, just be specific.
Yeah, but I was joking because Nina was trying to manifest the boy was. And she wrote down loads. I want him to be tall. I want him to be like this. I want him to be like cool. And she met him. The only problem is he wasn't necessarily straight. He might not have been gay, but it would be like, so be super specific.
Yeah. Okay.
She's not how. No, so be specific, but also don't, in my view, don't be overly specific that it feels unrealistic, because yeah, if you say, I want to have a net worth of $1 billion.
How is that unrealistic?
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying don't write it down if it feels unrealistic to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because,
say what you want.
Yeah, because if it feels unrealistic to you, when you say it out loud or you write it, you're not going to believe it. And the universe doesn't just work on, well, it doesn't work on what you write or what you say. It works on what you believe. So you can be writing, I am worth $1 billion, but if your core isn't believing it, if you're saying it and there's just no conviction.
You have to believe it. You have to believe it for yourself. If you don't believe it, the universe is not going to deliver it.
I agree. And, you know, and I even think that, I don't know if this is topic we should talk about, me with the, you know, historically, the girls I've been able to date, I'm not particularly, you know, I look okay. I'm not tall, not particularly currently super rich, like big, and like, but I've always historically got pretty girls, and I did. The reason is I always believed I could. I remember after my marriage, I went out with one of my wife's colleagues, which is so, her husband, his husband, whatever, the couple. And he was like, oh, I'm glad I met you because I was telling everyone around the table at your wedding, I don't know why she's with him. Have I never told you that? Yeah, like, that is so rude, dude. But yeah, he was around that. Say again?
The husband said that to you?
My ex-wife worked with her, and it was this colleague.
And the was like, why is...
Yeah. And he said,
she with him?
Why is she with him? He's telling everyone around the table at my wedding, like 10 people at his table, I don't understand why she's with him. And in my mind, yeah, so rude.
Like, get the fuck out.
Yeah,
Wedding.
this was after the wedding that we met. And in my mind, well,
during the divorce, he was like, I knew this was going to fail.
That may be. I think they're still married. But in my mind, well, yes. Say again?
Talking about you and her, he knew it was going to fail.
He knew it was going to fail. It didn't, anyway, it didn't fail because of him. No, but he just didn't saw her, thought, I do not get this. But in my mind,
there's a lot of money or a huge dick.
and neither were true. So,
oh God.
So, a little bit of money, a little bit of dick. Yeah. We'll cut that out. We'll cut this out. But my point was, in my mind, certainly, like, of course I was going to be with a beautiful girl.
Duh.
Of course. Like,
why would you not?
Yeah. And I see guys far handsomer than me, and not that looks are everything. And I see them and I think, why are you not with a pretty girl? And the reason is they don't feel
they should be.
They don't feel they should be. And again, there's more important things than being with a pretty girl. But, it really is.
It's not just about relationships or money. It's about everything.
Yeah. And it's
they
like.
Feel they deserve any of it.
And it's like they say in work, there's no doubt we've all reported into people less smart than we are. Not my current boss, not my old boss. I'm not speaking about them personally. I'm just saying in life, most people will have had a boss and they're like, wow, that person is not as smart as me. How can they be the boss and I'm not? Well, it's because they manifested it, because they believed that they should be the boss.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people now with exceptional high net worths, and other people are thinking, well, how did that happen? They're not even smart, but they believed it. They made it happen. Yeah. The universe opened up for them because they truly believed it was going to happen, and they allowed it to happen. So.
Yeah, so basically what we're trying to say is that you need to, if you operate from a low frequency or a low vibe, the universe only hands back to you what you think you deserve. So if you think you deserve love, money, health, whatever, like, you're entitled to that, but you have to believe it for yourself. You need to change your frequency. You can't receive when you're on the wrong frequency, right? So, like,
I agree. I'm shaking my head up because we understand it's so very hard. If you have nothing, if you are not eating, if you have no shelter, it's very difficult to avoid that. That is the reality. But the challenge is it will always continue to be that reality if your mindset is that mentality. And I'm not trying to oversimplify it or sound naive.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunately just very true. I was talking to someone else and she was saying, well, my sister's never, ever once asked what I want from the grocery store. I said, well, just by saying that, because I said, maybe your sister will get you something. I said, just by saying that, you are literally putting that out there. Yeah. At least be open to the fact that she may one day.
Yeah.
And feel how different that feels.
Yeah.
To be, just you say, well, she's never, ever, ever got me anything with that. I'm open to it. Maybe she has. Maybe she will. So just be open. Be sensitive to your own energy and how you feel and what you're allowing and what you're blocking.
I have a lot of airplane references. So when I was flying as a flight attendant, one of my coworkers had this lanyard that said your attitude determines your altitude. And I agree with that statement. Like, you can't expect to excel if you're in a bitch ass mood all the time.
Yeah.
Or like, and you have to take inspired action too. You can't just be like, you know what? I really want to make $100 million, but I'm going to be a potato on the couch.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't work either.
Yeah. She's just looking at me when she's saying that.
Yeah.
And Jim Carrey is the best example. When I wrote himself a $5 or $10 million check when he was like poor and unknown, And he said, like, he actually put a date there, I think. And like, he literally was offered $10 million for a movie, like 2 weeks before that check came due. Now, that's probably one of the highest profile examples of manifestation. But if you listen to all of these celebrities, Jim Carrey, Jennifer Aniston, Oprah Winfrey, I mean, they all, like Posh Spice, David Beckham's wife, they'll all talk about visualizing it, knowing it was going to happen before it was going to happen, truly believing with absolute certainty it was going to happen. So no matter what your current situation is now, write down 5 or 10 things that you want, put it on your fridge, or stick it on your window, because I do think there's something with sunlight.
Yeah, somewhere very visible.
Yeah.
Somewhere you want to see it every day, often.
And read it, and believe it, and, affirm it, and visualize it, and dream it. But belief is really the right word, because you can do all those things, but if you don't truly believe it, and you believe you're going to have a life of lack and lack of abundance, then that surely will unfortunately continue to be your reality.
Yeah, stop living in a lack mentality. Like, your frequency changed is approved.
Your frequency change is approved. And again, I'm not suggesting it's easy, but if it's there, if you want it.
So thanks for listening to this episode. Go ahead and click on the links below, or check us out on our website, unusualbesties.com. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Unusual besties.